In-Frame's first job in London. Ricardo had previously worked with a traditional heavy metal band called Wargrave, and they reached out to ask if we'd be able to shoot a video for their next single. Ricardo took the lead on this and handled most of the pre-production. The band sent us a few references, mainly consisting of old-school heavy metal videos. We packed up the car with our gear, picked up Jenson, and set off from Sheffield around 6:30 AM with the aim of being on location for 10. The location for the shoot would be the recording studio and rehearsal rooms where the band practices. Only our job was to make it not look like it was a recording studio. We brought along plenty of our trusty old friends, the Black Sheets, and set about figuring out where to position the band to give us the most space to work. Fortunately, the room wasn't small, so we had plenty of options. The shoot would be split into 3 parts: a group shot of the band performing together, individual shots of the members performing on their own, and finally, a kind of narrative scene with the singer performing to himself in front of a mirror. Once again, we spent our time figuring out angles and spent a considerable amount of time tweaking the lighting. We also made a significant gear choice on this shoot. Ricardo's camera is a Blackmagic cinema camera, and I use the Panasonic S range of mirrorless hybrids. Ricardo also only uses zoom lenses, whereas I have the full range of native prime lenses for the S series. On the last couple of music videos we shot for Sinkalima and for Emma Saville, we tried using a combination of both of our cameras, but found that we spent far too long in post-production trying to match the images from the different systems. Not only are they completely different sensors, with the Panasonic being full frame and the Blackmagic being a crop sensor, but the colour science of the brands is quite distinct. Plus, the difference in lens manufacturers and lens types meant that we were producing quite different images. We knew that on this shoot we wanted a super wide angle of the band performing, and the Panasonic has the widest option for us, being full frame and having access to an 18mm prime. Also, due to the fact that I own 3 Panasonic S-Line cameras, the S5 II, the S5 I, and the S1, this meant that me and Ricardo could take a camera each and grab 2 angles at the same time, and still leave a camera for Jenson to grab the BTS. Panasonic it was for the shoot. We knew the full band shots wanted to be high and wide, and the singer is quite tall, so when we discovered neither tripod was tall enough, we ended up stacking some boxes underneath it until we were almost touching the ceiling. We had a mix of tripod and handheld shots on the shoot, and as Ricardo was taking the lead, he'd do most of the handheld camera work. Another gear choice was to bring the smaller smoke machine. A lot of filmmakers have a smoke machine of some sort to create the atmospheric haze that makes an image look more cinematic, and I'd had a small one for a while. Not long after In-Frame was formed, when we first started shooting videos in the big event space, Ricardo realised that we needed a big smoke machine to put out enough haze to fill the space efficiently, so he ordered one. Now, on every shoot, we have a choice, small or big. Given the size of the room we were shooting in today, if we'd gone with the big one, we wouldn't have been able to see anything. Although this was also the first shoot we'd used the SAC, which is exactly what it says it is, a SAC. I'd seen adverts for these online and thought they were just a gimmick, but when I saw a reputable filmmaker, Mark Bone, speaking about them on his YouTube channel, I thought I'd pick one up and give it a try. They add a little more stabilization without giving that synthetic robotic feeling that you get from a gimbal. And it's easier on your arms and shoulders when holding a heavy camera for long periods of time. For the group shots, we tried to match the colours of the artwork for the single with blue and green tones. But when it came to the individual shots, we changed it up to a more neutral palette. We also added in some strobes and shot lengthways down the room with a long lens. We knew for these shots we didn't need 2 camera angles, so while Ricardo was filming, I took on a bit more of a directorial role, prompting and guiding the band members as they were performing their individual shots. The artwork for the single shows a character addressing themselves in a mirror, so the band was keen to represent this imagery in the video too. We'd have the singer performing to themselves in the mirror and have 2 versions, a normal version and a darker version. In one version, we'd have a complete mirror, in another version we'd have a cracked mirror, and in one version we had Roman looking like his normal self, and in the other he was wearing a dark hood and it had a bit more of a menacing tone. Firstly, we learned from Ricardo's video shoot last year exactly how to break a mirror this way to achieve this result. We are now expert mirror breakers apparently. Secondly, the lighting was an absolute nightmare on this and took us ages to figure out how to do it. Reflections, camera angles, broken mirrors and hoods was an absolute conundrum to figure out, but we got there in the end with a little trial and error. Now to pack the car and settle in for another 3-hour drive home, absolutely buzzing with a good day's work. And over to Ricardo for the editing.